With our cycled animation finished, we're going to take a look at a way we can extract keyframe data from those infinitely cycled F-curves. There are times when we'd want our infinitely cycled animation to be cut off at a certain point. So let's learn how we can do that within Max. What I'll first do is increase the range of our active time segment, go to the time configuration dialog, and just set the end time to about 100 frames. So that will be our cutoff point after frame 100. What we can now do, selecting our ship, is to go to our curve editor, and we'll go to the tracks we'd like to extract keyframes from. So that's going to be our position Z track and also the rotation Y. We'll control click both. Now with those selected, we'll go to Utilities, Track View, and choose Create Out of Range Keys. With that selected, we get this dialog where we can choose how many frames we'd like to add before our first key using the before parameter, or underneath after will allow us to choose how many frames we'd like to add after our last key. So I'm not going to add any keys before the first. I'll set this to 0. And for the last, being that we want to move from frames 33 all the way to 100, we'll set our after value to about 67. And then for the samples, this will tell Max how many keys to generate in that range. So you'd probably want to increase your samples range to a point where you can have enough keyframes to preserve your animation, but you don't want to go overboard with this. If you add too much, it might be problematic to go in and later edit your animation. So you can go ahead and set this sample value to about 30. Press OK. And now notice keyframes have been made from those cycled curves. So what we can do from here is simply go to our tracks and turn off cycle. So I'll go back to the out of range types and make sure that this is going to be set to constant. Great. Alright, well now that that's done, notice that the animation, if we were to check this out, I'll close out dialog and I'll also close out the curve editor temporarily and increase our end range. So you'll notice that the animation will continue all the way till frame 100 and then stop. So what we'll actually be doing is coming back to this animation. We'll actually save it out and get it prepared for the mixer, which we'll be discussing in the next lesson.